With the most recent season of All Out War releasing, I have received a lot of requests in the past few days to make guide videos on it. It is a very unique event, of course. It has its own mechanics, which we don't see in any other events in the game, in a lot of areas at least. There are some shared mechanics, such as with Siege of Winterfell with the RTS combat elements, but there are parts of it which are entirely specific to this event itself. So this video is going to be focused on the rallying system and everything you could possibly want to know about it. So first of all, the rallying chariots themselves, you of course are going to have to produce these through the armory and the vehicle production system. The rally chariots specifically are exceedingly more expensive compared to the other vehicle types in the game mode. Even at blue, this is obvious with 24 million brass here to 1.5 mil on the medic here, but it gets even more stark as you go up, and the more difficult to obtain resources are required. So, particularly early in the event, do not expect to be given these out blindly if you're applying for them, because until your faction properly gets their economy online with the correct resource wagons to consistently mine those higher tier nodes, you just will not have enough of these to hand out. And in early stages of the event, they will be exceedingly hard to obtain, and they will probably be funneled onto a select few in your faction. So at blue, they just provide a 10% total attack buff to the march that they're put onto, and they can rally a maximum of 10 troops into their rally. That goes up to 20 troops with the purple chariots and 30 with the gold chariots. At purple and gold, they also gain equipped skills, which are on-use abilities you can use with a cooldown of 30 minutes each. You have your positional chariots and your guerrilla chariots. The positional chariots will increase the counterattack damage dealt by 20 marches around your troops with this chariot equipped. The counterattack damage is the damage you deal back to someone else who's attacking you. So if you're not being attacked, this will effectively do nothing. And the guerrilla chariots will increase your movement speed, again with 20 random faction troops around your march with this equipped. And this will be movement speed and not march speed. Personally, I think the movement speed chariots are better than the counterattack damage chariots. They're more multi-purpose. You can use them to escape, you can use them to chase, you can use them to close distance. Whereas the positional chariots, you very specifically need to be getting attacked. So they can have situations where they just don't get value. And again, this is movement speed, so it's like Mengo's effect. If this was 15% march speed, it wouldn't be very effective, but a 15% movement speed increase is just making you move a flat 15% faster. So I think the guerrilla chariots, personally at least, are better. That is my own opinion though, that's definitely not fact. So these can then obviously be assigned through the application system where you can apply when there's one in the faction garage, or you can just have it manually distributed to you by a lieutenant or a commander in your faction through this system here. When you have one of these chariots, you will obviously have to equip it with the vehicle system here. So I have my two currently out, but you'll have to equip it here on the march in this screen here, obviously. And then when you deploy it, it will of course change the visuals of your march, and you will then be able to initiate a rally. So the hotkey for this is down here, it is Z. I'm recording, this is bugged, and I have to manually click it, but you can of course just hit the Z key normally on your keyboard and it should work. You'll note when you try and use it, where I'm standing here for example, it gives you this error message saying it can only be initiated in an allied municipal center. So that means you have to go into one of these circles in one of your allied cities and then click initiate rally there, and it will come up with this. And I'll just go over all the specifics of this message myself. So you click rally and then your rally is up. This will post it in the faction chat of yours with I initiated a rally, and it will now appear in this rally tab in the left hand side of the screen. So if you click that, it will pop up with this. If you click this exclamation mark, it will show all the marches that are inside this rally. So the way to actually join rallies will just be through that system there, where you click this, you click join, and then it'll come up with this. You then click select all troops, and you click the rally button here. You just follow straight through with the little instructions it gives here, and then you click that, and you'll go inside them, and it will show this blaring horn to show that an allied rally is up to join. So for all intents and purposes now, this account is inside this rally. Now, as a rally joiner, this will not act as a conventional rally in GoTWiC. All this will actually do is effectively give the rally leader ownership of your troops down here and these marches. It will not use the rally leader's stats. It will not use the rally leader's army sizes or anything like that. It will go off entirely your own stats, your own army sizes. All it will do is give them control over these marches in combat. So you will have to make sure that you're set up as you want to be, and that you assumedly trust the rally leader that you're joining, since they will have control over your fate from this point onwards unless you manually take control again. You can of course just leave the rally whenever you want by controlling the march and moving it out, and that same system will apply when the rally is actually departed as well. So now that this rally is started and we have troops that have joined, I can show you exactly how the rally system works. So you can sit here stationary and wait for everyone that you want to join your rally, and then when you're full or you're ready to go, you'll want to click get moving, and it will come up with this message. And this basically means that as soon as you move, no one else is going to be able to join this rally anymore. The rally will be gone, and you'll enter the departed phase of the rally. So we'll move, and then at this point you see that the rallied troops aren't actually there at all. So we can move like this for as much as we want, and doing so will save the resilience that would be lost in movement of the rally joiners that are in our rally. But to actually control them and to use them in combat, we have to disband the rally. And I know this has caused some confusion to people because the terminology is sort of indicating that you're throwing away all these rally troops. That isn't how it works. If you click this, it will pop all those marches out, and you'll then be able to control them afterwards. In this state as well, there is nothing buffed up about this rallied march at all. It's literally just the exact same march as it would have been with 0 rallied troops inside of it. So there's no bonus army size you see down here. It's just my normal march. There's no additional stats or anything. And this is where the rallying system can trick people out. So when I actually get to the area that I'm intending to move to, so if there's a fight, say, at this city down here, for example, which starts at time of recording in about 3 hours 30, I would probably move to, say, like just outside the gate, like here, and then when I actually get there, I would then depart it there, which would be how I would approach it in a normal situation and not just a video recording situation like here. But when we actually get there, we're going to disband the rally like this, and then you'll see it pops out all these troops. Now that these troops have been departed, we can, using the shift key and our mouse, we can scroll a box over all of our allied troops, and we can control all of them simultaneously like this. And with this, we can of course run them at enemies and attack them with a giant group. And this will be effectively the entire functionality of the rally system in All Out War. So for example, if Kate here couldn't be at that fight I showed in 3 hours, she could join my rally and let me control her like this, and I could then run her marches at enemies and attack with them. Also, the pincer attack system works in All Out War just like it does in Siege of Winterfell as well. So the more marches that are attacking the same enemy, the higher the damage multiplier will be from all of you onto that march. So you will indirectly gain more damage through having all the damage sources be focused in and controlled by one person and attacking the same march simultaneously. You will realistically want to try and join rallies of the same troop type of yourself, just because it's common sense basically that if you join, say, an infantry rally leader, they will naturally be biased towards attacking spearman marches and naturally be biased to avoiding cavalry marches. So if you try and focus as many of the same troop types together in the same rally, then you'll be maximizing those counter bonuses as much as possible from a faction perspective. One thing to note with this is rally leaders can only control these rallied marches in combat. They can't use them to do economical things. So, for example, this has a gathering chariot down here, as you can see. I can't go and gather with it, for example. I can't rebuild villages with it. I can't produce vehicles or do constructions on buildings. I can only use it in combat. On the same note, I can't use, say, a medic wagon that they have to heal either. So there are limits to it. And because of that, if you are active, there will, of course, be times where it's preferable to just be controlling your own marches. And if you want to do that, you can just click one down here and move it around, and you'll gain control of it once again. And to be back under their control again, they would then have to re-rally, and you would have to join their rally once more. Until that point, it will show this in custody of another. And another change there's been with this season of All Out War is previously you could rally on a second march. So you see here I have a medium chariot on this march and a blue chariot on this march. So I could say rally on the second march, or you could disband the troops on this first march and just have one chariot, and then you could rally again and just disband the troops once more, and then rally again and again and again, to the point where you could control your entire faction. You can control it to 600 marches with just one rally vehicle, which was a bit ridiculous. And you could just have hordes just wandering the map and just slaughtering people together. Now, both of those, when you try and initiate that second rally, will give this error message. You're controlling other Lord's troops. Initiating a rally will cause you to lose this control. So if you try and rally from a second march, or you disband and try and rally from the same march again, then when you do that, you see I've lost control over all these other marches. So you can no longer repeatedly rally over and over again on the same account, which means you're going to need more rally leaders than you would have needed in that previous season of All Out War, the first one, and there'll be a little bit more micromanagement required, realistically. So if I join back, let's rally just once more, Kate's account, here we go. This will be pretty much all the details of the rallying system covered. Another thing you may want to be aware of as a rally leader is, for example, when I disband the rally there, or say if I move to like a certain spot, I mean, they're fairly split right here, but you will have situations where all your marches just sort of stand on top of each other. So like there, my two marches just went inside of each other. And in situations where you need healing, you may have to, as the rally leader, individually pick out certain marches and move them away. And you can sometimes lose track of this, but if you want to specify out a march that's particularly weak in a fight to direct them for healing, then you can just move them out, ask them to get healed, and then once again, when you want to control them, just group them up again and move them all back into combat and start attacking once more. Overall, I think that is everything covered. It's a fairly simplistic system when you actually get used to it, but since it's so different from everything else in the game, I know a lot of players are confused by certain mechanics. There's also been changes between seasons, which are, of course, things we have to get used to as well. It's an ever-changing situation, so you can't just come out with a guide and just stick to that info from season to season, because they're constantly tweaking and changing things. I think that is all for now, so don't expect purple and gold chariots to be thrown at you willy-nilly in the early stages of the event. Try and join rally leaders that, one, you trust, and two, are of the same troop type as you, so you can ideally make the most of your own counter bonuses depending on what troop types you're using. Remember that it's using your own gear, your own stats, your own commanders and army sizes, so make sure to fully buff yourself when you actually deploy your marches and then join the rally, since that is what the rally leader will be controlling. Now, on the same note, joining, say, a max accounts rally, if they're a terrible player, for example, may be not as preferable from joining a tiny player if they're a great player. The actual size of the rally leader is effectively irrelevant as it comes to all-out war rallies, other than the fact they will be exceedingly strong in combat and give you an advantage as an ally through that alone, obviously. And that is everything you need to know about rallies in All Out War.